Hi, I'm Kate.
And I'm Brit, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We went to go see the Guillermo Del Toro exhibit at the LACMA called At Home with Monsters.
It was absolutely amazing.
So cool.
The atmosphere, the music, the art. Oh,
so cool.
It was beautiful.
It was such a cool mix of things that he's actually drawn and concept art that he's made and sculptures he's made, and then art that inspires him.
Yeah, and things that have been inspired by things that he has done.
Yeah, it was awesome.
When you enter the museum, each different room you walk into has a little bit of a theme to it. Like there's kind of a Frankenstein and anatomy themed room.
Yeah.
There's like a children's themed room which really covers Pan's Labyrinth and parts of Pacific Rim.
Devil's Backbone.
Yes. Yeah. It really takes time to explain why Guillermo del Toro is into these things and explain what it was for him growing up and getting into all of these things.
My favorite thing about it too is that a lot of exhibits in art museums, it's like all a bunch of paintings or it's a bunch of sculptures, whatever. This was paintings and sculpture and concept work and his notebooks and actual costumes from films. And props. And then also special effects areas. Like they recreated one of the scenes from The Devil's Backbone with all of these special effects and projections on glass. And then they also recreated Guillermo del Toro's rain room, which was one of my favorite parts of the whole exhibit.
That and Boris Karloff getting his Frankenstein makeup put on, which is really cool.
Such a cool sculpture. We don't have any least favorite part of this at all because the entire exhibit was flawless. So we're going to talk about our favorite things. You first.
I could have stayed there until they kicked me out. It's really hard for me to like pick out one thing that was my favorite, so I have two. The first thing that was my favorite was a costuming piece, and that was actually the blood drop dress from Crimson Peak. This is an amazing dress on film, period. But then seeing it in person and seeing all the details that go into it that you actually don't really get to see in the film that well, I'm in awe. It is probably my favorite costuming piece out of any movie ever. And just seeing it in person made my heart swell.
Close enough that you're like this far away from it too.
My other favorite piece was, as we know, I love creatures. And they had a queen tooth fairy. In Hellboy 2: The Golden Army, we see tooth fairies everywhere, and I've always wanted one. And they had a big old queen, and I just want to pet her and love her and feed her teeth. What was your favorite piece?
I loved so much of it. I have like just a few highlights essentially. One of them was they had Hellboy's coat, and I felt so vindicated because I remember we actually, you know, on Saturday we just put up our review of Hellboy 2 and we said in it like, I'm pretty sure that he wears the exact same coat, and on the inscription underneath the coat it said Hellboy and Hellboy 2: The Golden Army. And I was like, I knew it! The exact same one! And then there was like concept art from Mike Mignola and like even drawings from him of like this is how he puts on the coat. And then I loved seeing actually the blue velvet dress because there's so much more distressing and degradation on the velvet than you can actually see in the film. That was amazing. And then also seeing Mako. Oh, I do know my number one favorite, the kaiju parasite.
That was actually pretty cute. I wanted to cuddle it.
I love kaiju. I've always loved kaiju as a genre, obviously. And then when Pacific Rim came out and the character Newt, I was like, they made me into a character in a movie. Like, Newt is me. Me and Newt are the same person. So when he's running around and he's like, is that a kaiju parasite? Like, is this part of the lung? Like, and he's freaking out. I was like, I feel you, dude. And then I was at the exhibit and I looked and I was like, I think I literally went like, and there was the kaiju parasite right there.
I just heard somebody screaming my name to come over, and like screaming and touching the glass.
I was freaking out. That's actually also the character that got me into cosplay. That was my first ever cosplay, was Newt from Pacific Rim.
You make a perfect Newt. That's adorable. Make the trip. It's amazing.
So cool and so immersive.
So there were some amazing soundscapes designed for this exhibit by Gustavo Santaolalla. I apologize if I'm butchering your name. I'm very, very sorry. But you did amazing work.
Oh yeah.
Every once in a while, like, it was kind of quiet, but there was a nice, like, outdoorsy kind of noise. And then every once in a while, it would sound kind of like a house and it would creak, and then you'd hear slamming doors, or you'd hear insects, or you'd hear like a growl.
Yeah.
And it really added to the experience of the whole thing. Like the couple times that like you heard a slamming door or something fall, I literally thought somebody knocked something over.
Oh yeah, I got scared a couple times.
Yeah. Everything about this, it showed how creepy can also be classic and beautiful. Gave you a look into who Guillermo Del Toro is. If you've ever grown up weird or liking odd things, or you know, liking taxidermy or movie monsters or anything like that, you feel at home in this space.
And it's also crazy inspiring. I remember something he tweeted a while ago that like I never gotten out of my head. I just really loved it. But he said horror isn't just a one-note genre. Like there's so much within horror. There's everything from like dollar store horror to like couture horror. And he said like as he's gotten older, he prefers designer horror. Like horror films that are really well thought out and have like a lot deeper stuff to them.
Yeah.
And that exhibit was like, yep.
I found out he has a book about the dangerousness of fairies. I almost cried because I love fairies and fairy lore and I will geek out all day.
So moral of the story go, it's the best. And Guillermo del Toro, thanks for being on this planet at the same time as us. So this Wednesday, we've switched around our schedule a little bit because I just finished Stranger Things and we're freaking out. Kate already finished it. So this Wednesday, we're going to have a review of Stranger Things, so click subscribe if you want to be notified about that as soon as it comes out.
Thank you for watching!
Some more modern day stuff. This movie, they didn't base on any real specific storyline from the comic book, so Guillermo del Toro had free reign to do all of his amazing creature creation.
A troll market. Oh my gosh, I don't think there's like two of the same creature.